the first thing I thought of was J.R. Ewing, the fictional Texas oil tycoon. And I just thought, you know, Bush ran away from that. Cheney ran away from any contention back in 2002 and 2003 that they were after Iraq's oil reserves, which, FYI, still have not been fully resourced, have they? 20
No.
something years later. And I just thought, what a departure that was. And we talked about this, Brian. What a departure that was for Trump, who he ran for 10 years. We've heard Trump talk about, quote, stupid wars for oil and stupid forever wars, and how it's foolish and it's strategic like quicksand, and we wasted all this blood and treasure. And here he goes, kind of doing the same thing in Venezuela and declaring that we're in the oil business. The interesting part about that continued into last night, into Sunday night, was, Trump says we need the oil, we need the oil. Then Marco Rubio goes on all the Sunday shows, I think, maybe except one, and he declares, I was watching on Face the Nation, he declares we don't need the oil, and the world doesn't need the oil to bring down prices, because right now and for a while now, production is outstripping demand. So it wouldn't bring the prices down, and it'll take a decade, to really increase production to where the U.S. wants it. So we don't need the oil. We're good. And we've got a lot of oil here that we're trying to tap. That was Rubio. Then last night on the plane, the president says, well, once we start pumping, and we need to pump more because it'll help bring prices down. And not just gas prices, but, his theory is if you bring gas prices down, then price of everything falls. So Trump says we need the oil quickly as possible to bring down gas prices. And Rubio says, nah, we're good. So if it was about oil, you think those two guys in the green room at Mar-a-Lago might have had a quick chat. But no one knows what the end game here. No one knows what the goal is. And I think this oil contradiction between the Secretary of State, who, by the way, is also the National Security Advisor, who works out of the West Wing most days.
And the archivist.
Yeah.
And the archivist and the
and
head
of
the
USAID, to the extent
which
it
doesn't exist anymore, which, by the way, USAID and the U.S. Institutes of Peace might have come in handy right about now. And the Wilson Center might have come in handy too right about now to help you do this. But this is different because they're not ruling out boots on the ground. The oil contradiction is interesting because it shows the strategy is so unclear and the long-term vision is unclear. They're going to try to do this with the blockade. So it's not Iraq, but can you do it without a presence on the ground? Can you be an occupying force just by seizing an oil tanker every 2 weeks? I'm not sure.
Snatching the president of the country. And that's one of the things, Rubio also said, remember when he got up during that press conference and he said, you should learn one thing. If this man says something, he's going to do it, which I think was the pitch that was made to him. You're going to be strong. People are going to see you're a man of your word. You're resolved. Go. And he bought that because while he has made all kinds of claims on that airplane, he has also said to Bogota, Colombia, President, watch your ass. He still wants Greenland. He's warning Mexico, and he's saying Cuba is about done with. So he's given us, 4 potential targets for the future. And as I said on the outset, this is precedent setting, honestly. I mean, Mark, you talked about Panama earlier, but that was actually, military occupied forces, boots on the ground, blaring radios for 2 or 3 days, and then, regime change. This was just a snatch and grab, man. And if he can pull that off in Venezuela, well, I worry about what he's going to innocent civilians in the United States. He's already shown that he'll use the military against us. So we certainly don't have, the protection that the head of state has. But other heads of state have to be wondering, am I next? And he's telling them, you might well be.